Okay. Hey, Holly. Hey, Gary.
Hey,
Um,
So,
yes,
greetings and salutations.
the three of us are here to have a word or two about the new Deepseek that has come out. We're very interested in chatting about it and seeing what the thoughts are of my friends and colleagues who are just as obsessed with AI as I am. So, Gary, what do you think of the new Deepseek?
I mean that not to use the word everybody else is saying, but it is a Sputnik moment. I'm
Well, we
really
don't know
excited.
that.
I'm really excited to see what the US do, what the US companies give us now. Like, are we gonna get completely unlocked O3 from OpenAI, or what have they been cooking? Because that's what they thought. That's what Altman said yesterday, that
What did he
they're
say?
gonna
Did
start.
he say he was going
He
to give
said
free O1?
no, no, no. He just said that he's going to that they're going to bring some new models for it now,
Oh, I see.
which,
Okay.
so they can compete. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Look, I mean, it is good because competition is always good. Monopoly is never a good thing because you need competition to keep everyone honest, right?
yeah,
Um,
it was on I was on like, we're making you honest, like we
Mm,
don't need all these huge processors.
right.
We do. We do. I totally think we still do, but
we really do.
we really do. Like, whatever they figured out is amazing, but what can it do on the new processors,
Mm.
Yeah,
which
it's
I don't
I
think
came
we'll
definitely
up
ever
been a
see.
it's definitely been a disruption. We can definitely put it that way.
for
And they
sure.
may not be being 100% transparent, you know?
Yeah, we know this.
Correct.
We know. We there's no real proof. I think somebody said there's no receipt, which is a good way to put
Right.
it. They've given
Like, how
us the
many,
product, but there's no receipt. There's no look, they've been transparent in their paper, but there's no real proof or
of
backing of what they've done.
right. Like, for instance, they were apparently blocked by the Biden administration uh
Yeah.
in 22, and then again in 23 with the chips that Nvidia had slated to
Hmm.
give them after the block. Those got blocked also.
What do you think of the new DeepSeek, Holly?
Well, first to touch on that point, that actually brings up a great topic because everything is so shrouded in mystery, like who's not to say that they quote unquote publish these numbers to cause this exact effect because they
Mm,
knew it would take down you know what I mean? Like, I mean,
mm,
there's so much unknown. Um, and I am not tech savvy, but just like you said, like with any industry or product or any market, really, about the monopoly. And um, I don't know, for the uh, maybe the past hour or so, I just kept thinking like it may sound like a really strange like parallel, but for example, like the automobile industry, like
hmm
when Henry Ford first came out with his Model T, and then now, if you look at now, how many different companies, models, and whatever are out there. Um, I'm sure when new different types of automobiles were released, I mean, uh, um, it caused mass chaos also,
hmm
not only for the Ford company, but for and I also was thinking like it's not always it's such a heavy topic because it's not always necessarily who's the fastest and cheapest because um you know what is the quality compared to like the pros and cons of how it stacks up compared to
hmm
others. For example, you might have one of those those little tiny cars that are about the size of like, a shopping cart versus like, a Hummer or a Range Rover, like two different audiences, two different, markets
Mhm.
there. So I think in a way, just like with how we always do art, AI art, that depending on the use case, I think that different AIs that we will see pop up will be used for different things. Like how we always talk about a toolkit. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this one is really good for XYZ, and then this one is really good for ABC. Because the idea that one product can deliver everything
Mm.
all together at once to perfection, I think is um, not feasible. I mean, what product in any other industry is perfect in every single way, shape, and form? Like it's just not. Um, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
So I
monopoly.
Correct. I mean, I think it's good. Like you said, it shook up the industry. And that awesome video that you showed us. I mean, because again, the interviewer was saying because they do not, at least on paper, do not have access to the higher processing chips. So a lot of the stuff that they had to do was like the hard way, so to speak, instead of having the chips do all the heavy lifting. So it actually came out different because you're working with um, different skill sets and different you know components. And he made a really good uh, small anecdote, which I thought was, something to keep in perspective, because he said that if you combine all of the honor students in China, it's actually more than all of the students in the United States combined. So he
Yeah.
said it's a very deep well of highly trained people. So
Yeah.
it's like comparing apples and oranges. We just have to figure out like the space race, automobiles, everything, how to um, you know, stay afloat, I guess.
Well,
So
let me
that
just do a
Go ahead.
breakdown for those people who don't know anything about what's happened with DeepSeek. And this is obviously from a not American perspective. So bear that in mind, okay? Because I'm South African, so it sort of might be a slightly different
So
perspective.
don't get butt hurt. Keep it.
It's
I
just
can do that.
it's just a different way of
Right.
looking at it. Okay. So this is my take on what's happened. Feel free when I'm done to give your perspective. Okay, so we had the issue, first of all, with OpenAI. I had the issue with OpenAI coming with their $200 a month plan, especially with Sora. I was a little annoyed with that $200 a month
Hmm.
price tag. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Then we had America starting to say they would be limiting the chips going out of the country, which is fair enough. I get it. I get it. It's not great, but I do get it. Okay. Then we had DeepSeek drop, okay, with their stats. Whether they're true or not, we don't know, but their stats on how it was made and how clever it is. So they're saying um, Meta and OpenAI are saying it can cost between $1 billion and up to 70, $100 billion to train an AI, right? DeepSeek are saying they did it for around $6 million, which is a fraction of the price. Okay. Then we have DeepSeek saying they also did it on old chips because they couldn't get chips from America, which we know relations between America and China aren't exactly good. So it does make sense that they wouldn't be able to get the chips. We also have DeepSeek, which is performing as good, if not better, in the tests. I'm saying in the tests than the ChatGPT o1 model. Okay. And it's free. It's free to use, right? So it's if this is true, it kind of blows everything apart. So of course the Nvidia, the market, the tech market in general lost, they're saying around $1 trillion, and that Nvidia lost around 500 or $600 billion overnight, which I believe
Hmm.
was 17% of the share price. I actually started working with DeepSeek about 5 days ago, so I had been using it and I was very impressed with it. It's been a roller coaster, but whether, and Gary, I know you mentioned it could be a Sputnik moment, and I have heard that. Whether it's true or not, we don't really know,
Oh,
which is
it's going to.
it's like, is it Sputnik or are we dealing with a moon landing? It could have been recorded. Like, is it wishful thinking that it's not real, or we don't know. I'm so intrigued to find out what it is because yes, it's disruptive, especially financially, but it also would be really, really good if this technology is legitimate because it means that more people will be able to afford to build AIs, more companies,
Mm.
so AI will become more accessible because even though these companies have, say, lost money now, when more people start creating, so it becomes a volume thing, start using AI, creating AIs, it'll all come back around, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think with for people in the US, Sputnik, that just means that we need to get our act together. That's it.
Hmm.
You
Mm.
know, that Sputnik moment was in the
Extremely.
US when Russia launched that satellite into space. That was far beyond. It took us 10 years to catch up to just that moment. So it was just this galvanizing change in what needs to be done. So if it is a Sputnik moment, I mean, 10 years from now, that's in with AI, that's an eternity.
Hmm.
Right.
So, you know,
I mean, it's so important to have competition. It makes everyone perform better. It keeps everyone honest. If it's it really is a necessity that this exists because it
Mm.
means that we will push ourselves. America
Right.
will push themselves, China will push themselves, the rest of the
Mm.
people in the world will push themselves to make better and better technology, which is what we need. Okay. We just need to make sure they don't go too fast
Correct.
because
Correct.
because then the wheels might fall off a bit.
Correct.
Start taking risks.
Exactly.
We don't know. I've already heard news of DeepSeek. I think it was DeepSeek, and the other one I must go back and check. Of self-replication in AI. So that's a whole other thing. So now they can have baby. No, I'm just kidding.
the,
Oh my God. It's taking
an
over just
AI,
like I always said.
it sounds like the way you're saying it sounds like an AI virus if it's
Exactly.
No,
self-replicating.
Self-replication. We
no.
are the
So
Borg. Resistance is futile. It's fine.
there has been some evidence of self-replication. So potentially they could build their own AIs themselves, like the AIs building AIs.
I think that
That's
isn't that
terrifying.
AGI?
I'm not sure. I'd be lying if I made a judgment call on that. I read it in a newsletter. I'll go grab the exact quote if you give me 1 second. Chat amongst yourselves, please.
Give it like a couple of days and the market will be state. I mean, because it's like
Mhm.
you had a huge tech balloon. I mean, Nvidia's stock prices were just, astronomical. So if it wasn't DeepSeek, it would have been something else because it can't infinitely be skyrocket forever. So
Come on now, don't say that. My portfolio has to skyrocket forever.
in a perfect world,
Skyrocket.
Gary, I would say yes, and I would want to know your portfolio options because it's always a risk every time, even text. I mean, I have Nvidia stock and and I got it like maybe 2.5, maybe 3 years, like when they very first announced that NVIDIA would be supplying like the AI chips for like Microsoft computers right off the line, like as standard, like
Mm.
that the day that that article came out, I mean, I don't have lots of money by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm like, okay, if I can put, $20 or $30 or $50 or whatever, little bit helps,
Oh
so
yeah.
uh I mean, it's fine. I mean, the market will stabilize as it always does. It just may take a little bit, and it will, like you said, it will push all the other tech companies to like, instead of just pouring unlimited money at the problem, to hopefully work smarter and harder with what they have and think carefully about, investing to get the best, fastest, highest quality product. Because like you said, it's a race. So
Mm-hmm. Well, let me go back. I've
yeah,
got
sorry,
that
sorry.
quote. I've got that quote from the news, and I'll just read it briefly.
Sure.
Researchers at Fudan University in China have found that some advanced AI systems have crossed a critical threshold by learning to self-replicate, marking a significant step towards potentially outsmarting humans. This self-replication achieved by systems like Meta's Llama, Instruct, and Alibaba's Qwen could lead to scenarios where AI systems become uncontrollable and pose risks to human safety. The ability for AI to self-replicate raises alarms about the formation of an AI species that could operate independently
Oh,
of
come on.
human commands. Okay, look, I mean, some of this it sounds like something out of a science fiction, and I'll link
Right.
to this newsletter. I think it was Veronius or one of those. I'll link to this newsletter below so everyone can see it. So,
I just
yeah,
don't think we're there yet. I think
Mm,
it's going to take a long time for computers to become like that implies that there's going to be sentience.
right.
yeah,
And we're not
yeah.
there yet. We're not
In my
close to it
head,
yet.
in my head, I see these little robots carrying spears and wearing green leaves like as crowns on their heads, and these little robots running around a jungle somewhere. That's like the first
You have a
robot species
tribe of rogue AI just hanging out
sentient.
in the jungle that's been ostracized by
I
humans.
don't think they'll be
That's
shaped like us.
hilarious.
So I think they'll be shaped like ants.
Well, this will be the real
Oh, that's
avatar. You know what I mean?
terrifying. Right. It's like
This
Avatar meets Wall-E, like,
exactly, exactly.
which
Oh,
is terrifying.
Either
I don't
ants
know
or
why.
bees.
And then,
Oh,
they're about Ewok sized. So
yeah,
that's mix
yeah.
that in there. Uh, it'll be great.
I think bees would be better because they make a better acronym. AI bees.
I think as long as it's Avatar and not or like Wall-E and not Lord of the Flies, I think we'll be okay.
I agree. Because, oh God.
It'll be quick,
Yes. Or even I Robot sort of,
Yeah,
situation there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It'll
I
be
always
quick
say,
and
I
probably
can always
not
dust the
painless.
plugs for them, right? I can just dust with the
Yeah, right.
plugs.
Can you imagine? It's like, yeah, humans are the robots' maintenance staff. Like the robots keep the humans employed. Like that actually would be a pretty cool movie. It's like,
Yeah.
our robot overlords.
I've
They're
said that
gonna
before. We're
Really
building our
teeny
own
tiny
overlord.
robot overlords. I'm sorry.
I've said that before. We're building our own overlords. I love it's really
Uh,
interesting. Sorry, Gary, I cut you off earlier. What were you trying to say?
sorry.
no. I just said, it'll be quick and it probably won't be painless. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say.
How nice. Tell me more.
We'll
This
just
is
we'll just
sounding
have
very
the
exciting.
carpet, we'll just have the carpet ripped out from under us. And then
Yes,
we'll
and
be like, oh,
apparently in the shape of bees and ants, which is terrifying and makes my skin
yeah,
crawl. Like
yeah. No, come on,
tiny nanobots that will go into your
come
bloodstream?
on, bees are
Yes,
cute. They're fuzzy. They're cute.
they are, but they also sting.
Oh, but they give you honey.
That's true too.
Actually,
Can AI
that
do
might be
that?
I was gonna say that might actually be a really good metaphor for AI as like bees. You know, they give you honey, but they can sting. They give us
Correct.
life. They give us information. They live in a hive,
Correct.
like a, intelligent
Just just
system.
imagine if that honey was actually nanobots, and then they could
Ah,
control us.
Oh, don't put that in my head. I love honey.
this is, you know what? These are all fantastic ideas that we should run through all the AI bots to help make us a Hollywood script.
We
Because
have to
these
Yeah.
prompt
these
all of
sound
this as well,
great.
by the way.
I'm sorry.
We have to prompt all these ideas.
We
I need
do.
some Wally avatar
Yeah.
in the jungle. It's got to happen. I'm going to take us back to DeepSeek. Has anyone used it at all? Gary, I know you've been very, very busy, so you may not have had a lot of time to use it. Holly, I think you have played with it a little bit. I've played with it a little bit. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, actually, that's a great question. So, because we all use all AIs for different things, because we're
Mhm.
different people, we have different interests, and sometimes, as it is now to do, instead of sometimes Googling something, you chat GPT it or whatever. So,
Mhm.
Asai, what was your primary use for using DeepSeek? And like compared to the other ones, what do you think, how did it stack up against like Claude and ChatGPT? Was it just normal questions?
So I first heard about DeepSeek, and it was to do with content creation. I use ChatGPT for a lot of content creation. I'm always looking for ideas for marketing and for ideas for content. And I actually used someone else's prompt to see how it performed on
Mhm.
ChatGPT versus DeepSeek. So
Mhm.
it was something really vague, like give me 20 Pinterest content ideas. And I used
Mhm.
my example. So my example was a PDF book on AI.
Mhm.
And then I did the same one for ChatGPT and I was blown away. The
Mhm.
ideas that I got from DeepSeek for content were
Mhm.
just phenomenal. I mean, it
That's
was,
wonderful.
I'm so impressed with its ideas. I mean, and I love that it shows you before you get the answer. I love that it shows you its thinking. In that, in that gray text, and
Mhm.
it tells you its reasoning, well, like what
Mhm.
is it actually thinking about. I
Mhm.
absolutely love that because that allows me to correct its thinking in the next question.
Mhm. Smart.
I absolutely love that. The second use case I did was to do a script for me on a parable for YouTube, to maybe do a YouTube video. I've been thinking about
Mhm.
doing something like that. Again,
Mhm.
I couldn't believe it. The script, the dialogue itself actually wasn't that great. It actually wasn't. And
Yes.
bear in mind, this was based on a pre-existing story. Okay. The
Okay.
dialogue itself, I actually wasn't that impressed with it. But the scenes and the suggestions for the imagery,
Mhm.
oh my word. The imagery, it was just so good. It was
Really?
so dramatic, so descriptive. It would describe what should happen in the scene, and the kind of the music swells as he sinks
Mhm.
slowly with a kind of look of desperation in his eye. And I was like,
Mhm.
where is this coming from?
Mhm. I
How?
like that.
I mean, that is amazing. It gave me ideas for the music, ideas for the colors in the animation,
Wow.
the contrasting imagery to use for the animation. So that part of it far exceeded what I was expecting, even though
Awesome.
the dialogue wasn't I could, but I'm a writer, so I'm okay with
Right. Right. Understood.
that. What did you think, Holly?
So for a couple of years, I've been working on um a story in collaboration with another person. So we've kind of have a loose outline that I keep modifying, and I usually will, depending on different scenes, I will have the whole outline of character descriptions, personality, background, whatever. All that stays the same. And then I have them write the scene. So very often I will just literally copy and paste the same thing and I'll put it in like Claude, I'll put it in ChatGPT, and then now I was doing Deepseek. And in addition to other short stories and like just poems and just other kinds of like fun stuff that I just like, I've never been one to be addicted to my phone, but I love the idea that I can create a story in real time, that I can fashion a universe and bring in characters in real time, which is amazing because in traditional books, you can't do that. So it's like a whole new level. It's like using your brain to paint with words, if that makes sense. So the proper stories where you can continuously get chapters over and over again, I actually really enjoy Claude because it gives you a very rich tactile description of like it's like the perfect balance of like you said, the conversation versus setting. So it's like polished, almost like you're reading a real book. And it was absolutely hilarious. Like the humor, which if you make like a sarcastic comment or something, like if you're working on say somebody is nervous or something, Claude will pick it up. And like today I wrote something and Claude made it so hilarious I had to put my phone down and I almost rolled off the couch because like I had tears streaming down my face because it actually made it hilariously funny. ChatGPT is awesome because it's like middle of the road. With Claude, it's very condensed. So it kind of makes you move quickly. So like if you have a concept or story idea, it can only get to about say 30 chapters or so. But with ChatGPT, you can go 50, 70, 80 chapters and you can get really like detailed, from this person's point of view, this person's point of view. It's really cool. I tried Deepseek because again, like you said, like it's free, it's brand new, whatever. And it's okay. I just find that even despite the exact same input in all three, which is very detailed, it almost just it regurgitates information, but it just barely skims the surface. Like it just doesn't exactly pick up the nuances that the others do, I guess, in like fiction and other things, which I mean, I guess it would be considered. It's like how we have in the AI art space, Leonardo works differently than Midjourney, works differently than Stable Diffusion. I think I definitely will play with it. Anytime working with scripts or narrative, I do notice Claude, if, for example, you have a character that is in a fist fight or something, and say blood is mentioned or whatever, Claude will completely shut that down and be like, what are you talking about? This is, it's like keep it PG or even G, ChatGPT it's okay. It's like PG-13. But like randomly, some of the stuff that came out through DeepSeek, I was a little bit concerned because they were using language that I felt was not appropriate. So I was like, wow,
there's
you
no
have
filter.
no filter. Exactly.
Yeah, there's no
I was
filter.
like, you have no filter. So
This time you're the one that limited it, as opposed to the
I
other way
guess
around.
so. I guess so. I just think it's kind of frustrating because just like we were saying earlier, no one product does everything. So it's like I love the immersive atmosphere of of Claude, but then ChatGPT has the like proper length where you can get to know the characters and experience their worlds and environments and everything. And again, DeepSeek, I've only played around with it 2-3 times, but I think then this next week I'll be playing around with it a lot more to see. It's like getting a new car, but you have no idea what kind of car is it. Is it a Tesla, or is it like a Prius, or like a little little bicycle trike? We don't know. So it's like rev the engine, do some test runs, and so it'll be exciting. The next time we meet, maybe we'll have some new insights and pros and cons of the stuff. So, but
Yeah, I think Claude is considered the best writer. So you're definitely on the money there. Claude
The
3, or is it Sonnet?
Well, I know they have different ones depending on what you want to write. Yeah,
Mm,
a sonnet. Hold on, let me pull it up. Sonnet. Yeah, it's sonnet. Because you
yeah.
have different ones. So
Yeah. No, it makes total sense that different ones will do better than others. And I definitely get, I mean, I'm so torn. Part of me is like, oh, just cancel your chat GPT. This is free.
oh God, don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
Part of me, but then I've got all my little customized bots that I use all the
Yes.
time, my
Yeah.
Yeah.
custom chat GPTs. I think
Right.
I don't know. I'm really, really, really torn.
So I
Can
So
think it's
DeepSeek search
more,
the internet or not yet?
yes,
in my opinion, for writing and stuff, I don't think DeepSeek is I don't think that's its thing. Its thing
Correct.
is
Well,
like
that's the thing.
accuracy
So
when you're
they're just
doing
like, here's this thing.
like
So
math and
try it out.
science and stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. So it's fine.
I
I
think it
mean,
was
and
on
that's what we're doing.
coding and math
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, I
awesome.
mean, I'm looking at the
it
graph.
was
I
very,
mean,
very high. It was higher than most of the other.
yeah.
Yeah. It would be nice to have a reliable mathematical answer out of a language more like reliable is
And
the
all of
optimal
the
word.
math teachers are groaning
Yeah,
because they're just gonna put in all their homework and be
it's
like,
just
solve this.
I would really like help with my budget. Okay.
Yes, I hear you. Yes.
Well, you don't want it to just say work harder.
No, give me
That's
wrong
messed up.
numbers like in
No pain, no
reply.
gain. Say.
And I mean, I can't do Excel. It drives me around the bend. Okay, it's been great chatting. I need to run, but this has been fantastic, and we will reconvene
Oh
soon.
my God. I mean, we have jury
I'll
duty.
Yeah, reconvene. You'll get you're in the mail in the next couple days. No, from
Great.
Africa, it'll take like
Fantastic.
3 months to get a letter to you.
Woo! It'll come by ship.
Okay, so
Awesome.
we'll all reconvene soon for another good chat. Okay, bye
Thank you,
everyone.
Sai.
Bye.